Even when the sky comes falling, even when the sun don't shine. Pretty little hand in my sleeve. Even when I'm down to the wire, baby. Even when I do or die.
How you guys doing? So I had like back-to-back girls brunches, dinners with just a great group of women, black women, all in our 30s, and just talking about different things in life, all in different sectors of life, like in terms of profession. A couple were in tech, a couple were in entertainment, one was an attorney, one was a hairstylist, you know, creatives. It was a real mix, and it was great. There is something unique to the bond of women. And then even more so women of color, and then even more so black women. It's just like, there's something that happens that I can't describe, but it's innate. It's like either you have it or you don't. Either you're connecting or you're not. And it's okay, you don't gotta even force the connections. It's just going to happen. And I just think it's our soul, it's our intuition, it's all of that. While we were all together at dinner, I put out the question, what is it that you would like to see more of from black women? In a creative way, in an online space, whatever that may be. We all answered, and even I answered too. And my answer was about vulnerability. That I love the space that black women, women of color in general are in terms of creative. It's like we're making stories for ourselves. We're really like incubating ourselves. There's black girl luxury, there's soft life, there's like all this stuff right now to be like, girl, live your best life. And I love it. I love seeing it. And I said, you know, I want to see more vulnerability. I think vulnerability is like really fascinating to watch, whether you agree with whatever the person's saying or not. And whenever I get to see people do that, I find something really beautiful in that. And vulnerability is something that I think about a lot. Don't necessarily know if I always hit my most vulnerable moments or putting myself out there, but I'm a creative, so I do put myself out there a lot, and there's vulnerability in that, but I consider that to be more so my artist way, because I'm just an artist, so I gotta put it out. If I don't, where else does it go? I wanted to talk to you guys about something that I'm very vulnerable with, that I don't always talk to people about, but I figured why not? I'll talk about it here, because it's very real space that I'm in. So, I really want to be a mother. I didn't know that I was gonna have this reaction. I'm like one of those people who's wanted to be a mother their whole life. I think it's just my DNA that makes me like that. My mom was that kind of mother. She is still. She loves being a mom. It's her pride and joy. But she said she dreamed of being a mom basically her entire life. And I'm pretty much the same. I've like always wanted to be a mother. And like anything else that I've ever wanted, it does not come to me easy. I consciously say this to myself so that I don't get into my head of like anything, you know, all things flow to me. But the truth of the matter is, anything that I've ever really wanted has always been a real journey for me. Like just in general, like a real journey of growth, of learning, of figuring it out, of just all the things. It always makes me better. I always receive what I want, always, because I go after it. But it's a journey. Nothing falls into my lap. Everything I have to work for. And my journey in motherhood is no different. And sometimes it really frustrates me and makes me sad. It will make me sad mainly because I don't like to have like negative thoughts. I'm very like aware of like when I'm thinking negatively, or, you know, and not like in a toxic positivity kind of way, but just in a, I don't want to be thinking negative shit. So typically, I don't like to talk about my fertility journey because I don't want to be negative. I don't want to talk about negative stuff, and I don't want somebody to pity me or to like think that I'm being negative Nancy or, you know, anything like that. But it is challenging for me. It is very challenging. I'm in the phase of life where everybody around you is pregnant. Every single person I know has a baby. And I mean, a baby that's a year down, okay? Oldest is 2. That's the oldest that is around me right now. And I know that just kind of happens in phases. One of my girlfriends said something to me that was very positive. She was essentially like, nobody around her has a kid right now. That's not what's happening in her world at all. We are the same age. We very similar people. And she was like, nobody around me has a kid. Nobody is having a baby. She was like, so that's you. She was like, if you're close to something that you really want, that's a good thing. If you are around a lot of people having children, and you really want this, she was like, I actually see that as a positive and not a negative, because I was complaining to her that I have a hard time talking to my friends who are pregnant or having a baby. I'm very happy for anyone who is currently a mother, having a child, just had a child, currently with child, whatever phase of motherhood you are in. I'm always like, oh, so exciting. But I'm frustrated with myself and my own body for not working with me and functioning in a way to make me a mother. This is a very challenging video for me to do. This is a very challenging video for me to do because it is painful how vulnerable I feel. But I wanted to talk about it because I think there's other people who feel like me, who too would like to become a parent, and it's not happening for them in the way they would like. I can't even say that, the way I would like. I don't have a specific way in which I'd like it to happen, okay? I really don't, but it's just not happening in the way you thought, more so. And you're trying. It's not like you're not trying, you're actually really trying. I think what's really challenging about this space is there's like just general conversation around motherhood all the time. You know, now I'm recently married. People are constantly like, and do you plan on having any children? When do you want to have a child? When are you going to have a kid? And I hate it. I hate it. Not because I understand why they're asking. That's just what people do. That's just what people ask. But I hate that they're asking. I've already been trying, haven't been successful. And no one's prepared for those ends of the conversation. It's kind of like, when when you're just asking somebody like, hey, how you doing? And what if the person said shitty? Like really not good. Most people don't actually have a follow-up response for that, right? Like they just meant to ask you that in passing. It's going, that's all. Uh-oh. Wait, what? Like they would not know what to do. That is the equivalent to when somebody is asking you, when are you planning on having a kid? When are you gonna have a kid? Oh, you're gonna have a kid? If you really said to them what you've been through, what you've been dealing with, how you've been feeling, they would not have a response. 9 times out of 10, they do not have a response because I started to adjust my answer just to see. And most people didn't know what the fuck to say back. It's just kind of this thing that people say, and most people don't really understand reproductive health, the process of actually trying to conceive. Most people don't really understand, don't really know. And I realized that in my own journey. I'm making this video because there's beauty and power and vulnerability that is really intriguing me these days. And the most vulnerable topic for me is fertility and motherhood. That is my most vulnerable topic. And I don't talk to many people about it, but I felt like, if I, as a creative, would like to see more vulnerability, then I too should find ways to be more vulnerable. And why not speak about something that I'm dealing with that I'm sure others are too? Because it's a weird space of really wanting something and really trying very hard to get that thing, but not being able to. It takes a lot of mental work. Feel really bad about yourself, like to really not like hate your body. Yeah, it takes a lot of work to remind yourself that you are strong and worthy, and that you will achieve this thing. You know, I'm not a natural backup plans person. This is also a part of it. I don't have a backup plan. Like in my own life, I don't have a backup plan. I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm a creative. I'm an actress. I'm a filmmaker. I'm a creative. I create. That's what I do. I've been doing that since I was a kid. And I don't have another plan. This is the plan. I'm doing what I'm doing. And so oftentimes when you talk about fertility, people then naturally start to talk to you about all the backup plans. And I don't think people talk about them enough in the sense of like, there is a mourning process for every single one, to me at least, of like, oh, okay, well, if it's not happening for me here, I guess I should consider this one. And or this one, and like really wrapping your mind around like, is this really what you want? Is this how bad you want it? Like, is this the option? Is this the way to go? Which is why I think it's challenging for people to talk about, because naturally somebody will be like, well, adopt or do this or do all these things. And sometimes it's not the journey that you really wanted for yourself. And nothing's wrong with that. You know, I literally just did an IG live about PCOS and in partnership with a company, and an OBGYN was on the live, and she said something very positive. She said, you know, when I think of PCOS women, I don't think of them as infertile. I actually think of them as having a lot of fertility and just not knowing how to, you know, make it work for them is all. And that's how I feel. Anyway, this video has wiped me out. It might be a little too vulnerable for me, truthfully, because I feel exhausted. I listed this as part 1 because I'm hoping that the part 2 to this video, whenever that is because I'm a mother, or a soon-to-be mother, you know? I thought of a lot of different ways to conclude this video, but the truth is, I didn't have any, because I really just wanted to be honest in this moment and tell you guys something that makes me feel very vulnerable and talk about it openly. I'm not sure what's next or what's to come, but ultimately I always feel positive just about my future. And so though I am going through my own challenges with fertility right now, I know that I will get the outcome that I desire. And I'm just positive that I will learn something on this journey that will help me as a woman, as a mother, as an artist, and just to better my future. Hope you guys are all doing well. Tell me something interesting in the comments. Bye.